Hello, my sacred ones. I'm Savina Leo, and this is another episode of the Sacred Sutra podcast where I break down spiritual concepts so you can understand and integrate them into your everyday life. Today's topic is spirituality versus religion, and I might not be able to get everything said in this podcast episode, but I'm going to try to help you understand the difference and also the benefits of both. The human mind and the ego loves to put everything in a box. There must be one path towards enlightenment, and the ego itself was a divine creation that was created to help us have this human experience, to have awareness in a human body. But that ego is also what separates us. The ego likes to think of everything in a very individualistic way, and that is what it was meant to do. But the soul also understands that everything is divine and everything is connected. And having a balance between the ego and the soul is really what we're supposed to strike on our spiritual journey. The path towards enlightenment looks different for everyone. For example, the masculine path to enlightenment is sexual retention or sexual restraint, and the female path to enlightenment is through sexual expression. Over the past decades and centuries, the masculine way of spirituality was always at the forefront and given more attention. We need to abstain, we need to go within ourselves, we need to isolate, and that is one path to enlightenment. But the other, more feminine path to enlightenment is a way of expression and creativity and the collective coming together as a coven and really generating spiritual energy. The wonderful thing about Earth is that you can choose whatever path you want, or you can mix those two paths into any color that you would like that fits your life at this very point in your experience. If you want to put it in black and white terms, religion is a more masculine way to enlightenment, and spirituality would be a more feminine way to enlightenment. One is not right or wrong or better than the other. The soul has to choose its experience. And because most of us has had the masculine, dogmatic, religious experience of enlightenment, because it has been dominant over the last how many years, people are moving to a more feminine experience and embracing that feminine spirituality. And what you will find over time will be almost a mixing or melting of the two to find a balance for each individual person. It may sound strange, but a soul might need the dogmatic box of religion, and that might actually take them closer to their enlightenment, because they need that masculine structure of religion to feel the comfort that the soul is wanting to feel. And look, religion, especially Abrahamic religion, has a lot of issues. It tends to take the power away from an individual and give it to an institution, but it does have its space in our spiritual journey. Remember that the entire reason that we are on this earth is to have as many experiences as we could. So souls will choose to have a more constrained and constricted religious experience in order for their soul to understand and help their soul grow. Or they might choose to have a freer, more expansive, a more expressive or creative spiritual experience. So you might look at someone's experience and you might think that they're having a very limited experience, but their soul actually needs to have that so they can fully understand the bigger picture. That's why it's your job to find what works for you, and you do that by having many experiences, being open to as many experiences as you want to be open to, and find what really works for you. You cannot rationalize the universe through the lens of a human ego. Yet you cannot discount the divinity of the human ego when its role is to help us have awareness and individuality throughout this whole experience. Even though right now the more feminine way to spirituality is on the rise, we have to understand that we cannot discount the male way to enlightenment either. It will eventually come to a balance while staying in its polarity and holding space for polarity, yet holding space for a balance of both is having spiritual awareness. The more we don't hold space for both, the more we pit religion against spirituality, is the more they will both go into their extremes, into their extreme polarity, and they will not come to a balance. The question is not, is religion right or is spirituality right? The question is, what do I need in my life? Do I need more structure? Do I need more guidance? Do I need more expression? What do I need as an individual on my spiritual journey towards enlightenment? What does that look like? They both have pros and cons. They both have a light and a shadow to them. And if you're like, where is the shadow in spirituality? You will start to see over the next coming years that the shadow side of spirituality is going to start popping up. And unless we don't hold space for both of them in our heads, then they both can't come into balance. If you need help with finding a spiritual path that works for you, feel free to click the Work With Me button in the show notes. As always, you could find me on Instagram at I am Savina Leo. If you would like companion journals to some of my podcast episodes, feel free to check out my Patreon. It will be linked in the show notes. I have really helpful journals on chakras and self-love. Hope this episode gave you some sort of insight, and until next time.